God damn it. My name is Fallout, welcome to my channel, and today we're going over my PvP shotgun tier list in D2. Please believe me, making this video was not my idea. I included it as a goal for hitting 4,000 subs on the Twitch channel, which I never thought would happen. Thank you for that, by the way. And here we are. This took me a long time to put together, and we're gonna cover every exotic shotgun and every legendary non-sunset shotgun in PvP. My goal is for today's video to be helpful to people who maybe don't use shotguns for whatever reason, but want to try them out, or maybe for new light players who might be feeling kinda overwhelmed. But first, a word from me. Oh, hi there. I didn't hear you come in. I'm so funny. Today's video is brought to you by Bespoke Post. Bespoke is a monthly membership club delivering neat boxes of top shelf items from hidden gem brands, and it's free to join. Every month, Bespoke will introduce you to awesome new products, including outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing, and more. They've got a really wide range of box choices on their website. I could probably spend way too much time out here window shopping. Every box has around $70 in retail value, but will only cost you about $45. Now, I'm not a math teacher, but if you type that into a calculator, it adds up to value. You'll get a box based on a preference quiz tailored to what you're into, and before it is even shipped, you can preview what's inside and then decide if you want to either keep it, swap it for a different box, or skip the month entirely for no charge. You only pay for what you want. I got a few boxes right here. Let me show you what I got. I think we have the flip box. Check that out right there. Check out that blue color. Outdoorsy. Box number 2, alchemy. Me and my brother are gonna try to bring our mom back from the dead. Look at all this. Got some cool bar stuff in here. Really long spoon for stirring up drinks. Oh, dude, big shaker. Don't give that. Finally, I'll be able to make drinks at home and invite over a classy person into my home like true Vanguard. Box number 3. This is called the Slash box, and I'm now remembering why. One of the things I want to do more of in 2022 is go camping, which is why Slash package definitely will make finding firewood much more easy. Here's the part where I pretend to know anything about craftsmanship. Ooh, very cool stuff right there. To get 20% off your first box, click the link in the description and enter Fallout20 at checkout, or go to bspk.me/Fallout20. 20% off is kind of a big deal, so don't wait around and go check it out today. And a big thank you again to Bespoke for sponsoring today's video. All right, back to the content. Now, before you inevitably scroll to the very end of the video to just screenshot the final tier list with no other relevant information, then run off to Twitter to start some shit, stay here with me for a minute because I need to tell you a few things first. This is my personal tier list for PvP, and everyone's tier list is going to be a little bit different. If you reached out to 10 different PvP players and told them to make a shotgun tier list without communicating with anybody else, I'm sure that none of them would be purely completely identical. Oh sure, there's going to be a few shotties that I'm sure everyone can agree on, but other ones could go back and forth. Some people value slug shotties more than normal shotties, and some go the other way around. If you happen to be a PvP player who goes all in on a melee heavy build, you might highly value shotguns that can roll with the perk Swashbuckler, ranking them all in A tier or higher, whereas other people might not. Do you see where I'm going with all of this? Everyone's ranking criteria is going to be a little bit different depending on the player, and that is okay. Speaking of ranking criteria, I've decided that every shotty is going to get ranked on the following factors. Factor number 1, how good it is at the top level, meaning if we programmed an AI to be uber god tier omega good at the game, essentially a robotic cami, how effectively could that AI pop off with any given shotgun in the game with the strongest roll available. Factor number 2, how good is the baseline performance of that shotgun, meaning yeah, it's good to know how great a shotgun can be in the hands of a god player, but not everybody is a god player. A great example would be the Lord of Wolves. Weird gun, technically a shotgun. Top players can ruin people with the gun, but it has a really wonky learning curve, and giving it to your average player could potentially result in getting their ass kicked for a very long time. Factor 3, how clean is the weapon's perk pool, and do the majority of those perks favor a PvP build? I might also factor in how easy or annoying it might be to get that shotgun, but that definitely won't be a main criteria overall. I want performance to kind of be at the forefront here. Anyway, I know that no matter how much I beat you over the head with the little intro we got here, we're gonna get some goddamn jabronis down in the comments section, but hey, that is the nature of YouTube and the tier list, and there's nothing I can do about it. And with all of that said, let's dive right in, and we are starting at the very bottom with F tier. To me, F tier represents weapons that for one reason or another you should essentially never use in PvP if you can help it. They're kind of outmatched in every way. Kicking off that tier list, we have the one small step. Get used to seeing rapid fire frame shotguns being reviewed badly by me for PvP because in my opinion they are strongly outmatched by pretty much every other shotgun frame family in the game. Unless you're so close to a guy that you can smell his breath, most rapid fire frames are going to require you to pull the trigger 2 times, which I personally get annoyed by. Yeah, you can get a 2-shot kill from moderately far out, but that eats into your ammo, and again, I only want to pull the trigger 1 time. One small step used to have a great perk pool with things like opening shot, snapshot, threat detector, quick draw, and the now buffed pulse monitor, but all those perks were taken away when the weapon got reintroduced. New players can probably do way better than the shotgun for PvP. Next, we have the Deicide, another rapid fire frame shotty, and it's actually a perfect candidate for being in the F tier because the gun itself has a tiny little F on the side of it. Perfect. Deicide is one small step with a touch more range. It's got some perks which are nice, vorpal weapon, elemental capacitor, but again, rapid fire frame shotties make me sad and I tend to avoid them. If I wanted to use a shotty with vorpal weapon, for example, I would pick one that packed way more of a punch. Moving on, we have the Ikelos shotgun. If you had to put a hand cannon to my head and told me that I had to use a rapid fire frame shotgun, the Ikelos wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It actually has good base stats overall for a rapid fire, more range and more handling than the Deicide and the one small step. It also has shotgun perks that I like for PvP, threat detector, pulse monitor, elemental capacitor, and even rampage, although admittedly damage buff perks are way more fun on harder hitting shotties. IMHO, Ikelos is way better suited for PvE. It can make Warmind cells, it's got Vorpal, Surrounded, Rampage, Disruption Break, Trench Barrel. Save it for a lost sector. Don't bring it into PvP. Next, we have the Wishbringer. Shocker, all 4 rapid fire frame shotguns are in F tier. Well, at least I'm consistent. Wishbringer is IMO maybe the best of all the rapid fire frame shotties for PvP, but that's kind of like saying you're the least hated Matrix sequel. Number-wise, the Ikelos is stronger, but Wishbringer has a wider variety of more PvP-friendly perks. Slide shot, threat detector, pulse monitor, rampage, snapshot, moving target, and opening shot. Official not bad out of 10, but still rapid fire frame lame. The final shotgun in F tier, and I'm gonna need you to chill while I give you my reasoning, is the Legend of Acrius exotic shotgun. There are only 2 power weapon shotguns in D2, and because power weapon usage is much rarer in D2 than special ammo usage, I'm gonna rate power weapon shotties on different criteria. I won't be ranking special shotties against other special weapons, but I do feel like it is fair to rank power weapon shotties against other power weapons in PvP, because when it's power ammo time, you want a weapon that can easily lock up 1 or 2 kills with no trouble before you return to playing the game like normal. Legend of Acrius can absolutely get that done. In fact, if it were a special ammo shotgun, it would damn near be pretty much broken, but when compared to other PvP weapons, falls way short for me. I would rather put on a bunch of other power weapons, exotic or not, to lock up kills in PvP than the OG Acrius. I know it's a shotgun tier list, but again, because power ammo usage is more rare and far more different than special ammo usage, I feel comfortable with comparing Acrius and the other power ammo shotgun against other power ammo weapons. If you disagree with that, it's fine. It's my list. Go make your own. Hey, when was the last time you got killed in PvP by an Acrius, by the way? Exactly. Okay, moving on to C tier, which to me is for the most part meme tier. Yeah, you can use these in PvP if you want, but if you were to look up the top 1% of PvP players, I can pretty much guarantee that none of them are using these guns in endgame PvP. Kicking off in C tier, we have the Xenoclast 4. Xenoclast is a lightweight shotgun, and while its stats aren't bad, the main thing bringing it down for me is how garbage the overall perk pool is. 12 perks in column 3 and 4, and while you can walk away with a god roll overall, it is very unlikely that any new player will. Because there's so much going on that can F up your roll, you'd probably be way better off with a different shotty. Also, both quick draw and threat detector are nowhere to be found, which hurts Xenoclast for me overall. Next, we have the 4th Horseman exotic shotgun. Now, before you launch into a 10-paragraph tirade about how you watch everybody's favorite clean-shaven, handsome family man, True Vanguard, shredding people with the Horseman in PvP, why don't we be real clear? The gun is a meme. Can you punch through people like they're a wet paper bag? Yeah, but so do a lot of other shotguns, and the key difference is they don't burn through ammo harder than a monster truck-sized SUV burns through gas. The only thing keeping 4th Horseman out of bottom tier for me is that if you have the ammo and a large newt sack, you can murder roaming super users out of clear blue sky, including Dawn Titans out of their bubble, which admittedly is very funny to me. But again, the gun is a meme in PvP, don't deny it. Final weapon in the small C tier is the tractor cannon. Again, don't riot. Tractor cannon as a shotgun is terrific. If you could use it as an energy or kinetic slot weapon, it would immediately become Omega God tier without question, and I would never take it off. That being said, like the Acreus, I'm going to rank it against other competition in the power weapon department due to the nature of power ammo in D2 PvP. There are a few times in PvP I would want to put on a tractor cannon in trials or comp, mainly to shut down an enemy super. However, most of the time people are just using other way more effective and deadly weapons in the power slot in PvP that rack up quick kills and don't require much thought to use. Tractor cannon is fun and does have a viable purpose though, so it kinda sits proudly at the top of C tier. Alright, now we move on to B tier. To me, B tier is usable enough. They'll probably be rare in PvP, but every now and then you might see one, usually by people trying out things they haven't used in a while, or maybe trying to play a specific build or a unique weapon role. That being said, most weapons in B tier are still gonna be outclassed by things at the higher level. Kicking off the bottom of B tier is the Comedian, and it should 100% be down on its knees, thanking God that I had the decency, the kindness to even think of putting it anywhere as high as the bottom of B tier. I actually hate that I'm ranking the Acreus and Tractor Cannon on different criteria, because the thought of ranking the Comedian above either of those weapons is making me want to throw up in my mouth. I ain't gonna sugarcoat this at all. Aggressive frame shotguns are IMO the best shotgun frames right now, and the Comedian brings shame upon their ag frame dojo. If the other ag frame shotguns in D2 are the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Comedian is the goddamned Hobbit. It is acceptable, but it's the very obvious black sheep and its flaws are glaring. Almost all its perks are suited for PvE, Subsistence, Genesis, Lead from Gold, One for all perks that would be fine in PvE, but that ain't what we talking about today. Another huge problem is that the Comedian has laughably insane competition. You like that one? Laughably? Yeah, never mind. Pretty much the only reason you would ever want to use the Comedian over any other ag frame shotgun is because it is the only ag frame shotgun capable of rolling Thresh. Now that super timers in PvP are jank and all over the map, Thresh has gone up in viability IMO. If you are using a non-Thresh Comedian over the other ag frame energy shotguns, I want to tell you that you don't have to do this to yourself, and there is help out there. Next, we have the Adept Comedian, and yeah, it only makes sense to keep the regular and Adept version of this gun right next to each other at the bottom of B tier. Is the Adept Comedian slightly better than the regular? Yeah, just like how drinking 1 liter of warm buffalo pee would be slightly better than having to drink 2 liters of warm buffalo pee. It pains me to do this, but now we come to the lowest ranked slug shotgun on my tier list, living near the bottom of B tier, Philo, aka the first in, last out. Slug shotguns are actually damn good in the hands of even somewhat accurate players. However, despite being a former PvE boss killing champion, Philo is held back in my eyes for having a base aim assist value of 27, which when compared to almost every other slug shotgun is laughably low. Not to mention aim assist is something slug shotguns kinda really need IMO. In fact, the only thing that for me kept Philo from dropping down to maybe even C tier is the fact that it's the only slug that can roll with Vorpal weapon, meaning that if you wanted to, you could slap it on a long-running game of trials and clown some roaming super in one shot. Outside of that very unique usage, I would hard recommend using any other slug shotty over the Philo in PvP. Next, again, near the end of B tier, we come to the Prophet of Doom, aka the Garden Raid shotgun. It feels like a shame to rank a precision frame shotgun so low, because I actually do enjoy that family of shotgun overall. Despite having good numbers, Prophet suffers from a severe lack of good PvP perks in the pool. We only got 4 in each column, and nothing really to write home about, save for or opening shot in column 4. If we ever get a reworked Prophet, you could expect this gun to be way higher, but until then, no thank you, we can do better. Moving on, the Retro Futurist shotgun, the second lowest lightweight frame shotgun on the tier list today. Retro Futurist is like the Xenoclast. It doesn't have terrible stats, but the perk pool is lacking in my opinion. There are good options there though. You got Quick Draw, Thresh, Snapshot, and Swashbuckler if you're into that kind of thing. But overall, I would rather go for a different lightweight frame if given the opportunity to do so. Next, we have the Bone Chiller Slug Shotgun. Ranked higher in B tier than the Philo, Bone Chiller has okay perks, but a few things that annoy me. Namely, lack of quick draw, lack of moving target, lack of killing wind, and the fact that threat detector and opening shot both roll together in column 4, meaning that you can't get the gun to drop with both. Stat-wise, I should honestly be ranking the Bone Chiller higher, but there's something about the scope of the weapon that I can't put my finger on. I really don't like it. I find the gun bulky and difficult to aim well. It's like a Nerf gun that wished to become a real gun overnight. If you do well with the Bone Chiller, I applaud you, but I honestly prefer many other slug shotguns to it, so personally I can't justify putting it any higher than middle of B tier. Next, we have the Toil and Trouble. Aside from the meme adept shotgun that we will no longer mention, Toil and Trouble is one of the lowest ranked ag frame shotguns despite my love for the ag frame. If you're a new player and you want to toy around with the ag frame shotgun family and you get one to drop, you can put in good work with a Toil and Trouble. It comes with good PvP options too. Slide shot, threat detector, snapshot, moving target, even Rampage can be very fun with the weapon's high impact overall. Sadly though, you can do much better than the Toil, and that is okay. It's a beginner's weapon, and it should be happy with being in B tier. Moving on to the high end of B tier, we have the Sojourner's Tail. I know I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad by putting Sojourner in B tier and not in A tier. Honestly, I make myself a little mad by doing that too. I enjoy using the weapon when I do take it out for a spin. It's got a rock solid variety of weapon perks: threat detector, quick draw, moving target, opening shot, killing wind, adrenaline junkie, even tunnel vision. The only downside is that compared to other slug shotguns, Sojourner got the shaft. It has a tragically low 35 aim assist, meaning if you rolled into PvP with tunnel vision and got the perk to activate, you would still only be raising the aim assist to 55 overall, which is still lower than other shotguns that we will cover in A tier. I do like the Sojourner, and I think it deserves to be in the high end of B tier. I just wish it had better numbers on paper. 67 handling also ain't nothing to sneeze at though. Finally, in B tier, we have the Compass Rose, and I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to put Rose at the high end of B tier or the low end of A tier. Honestly, it's probably going to depend on your role. Compass Rose is precision frame and has a few good options, but its perk pool is kind of too littered with PvE perks for my liking. If you do have a good drop though, for example, maybe Quick Draw Vorpal or even Surplus Snapshot, you can definitely do work with the Rose in PvP. And now we come to A tier. To me, A tier is the minimum tier that you should be aiming for as a PvP player trying to get into the world of shotgunning. Everything here has the potential to do well in Crucible and either has a lot of good roll options or good numbers on paper, or both. First, we have the Reese Walker shotgun, definitely one of the higher performing lightweight shotguns overall. Almost every perk it drops with is suitable for a PvP role, and it even comes with the very rare Iron Reach perk, more range for less stability, and honestly, who cares that much about stability on a non-fast firing shotgun anyway. Reese Walker also comes with a base default of 74 handling, which is damn good. Next, we have the brand new Wastelander M5. Remember, by the way, that the small accuracy cone on the Wastelander is just for show. It doesn't have a tighter or better pellet spread. It is just a visual thing that Bungie put in to shout out Marathon. Wastelander is missing out on a few perks that I really would have liked to see: threat detector, quick draw, but it does have perpetual motion, essentially a free 10 to 20 handling buff for just moving around, meaning it's pretty much always on. In column 4, Wastelander has tried and true options like killing wind and opening shot, but also fun things like Adagio and even Harmony. Overall, Wastelander is a lot of fun and very effective, and I think it belongs in A tier. Next, we have the 7th Seraph CQC-12, aka the other Warmind shotgun. 7th Seraph is pretty much in A tier because it has good base numbers overall and access to either quick draw Vorpal weapon or quick draw snapshot, both which are very fun combos in PvP. To top it off, the CQC only has 4 perks in column 3 and 4, meaning your odds of getting a usable one as a new player are fairly good. It's not the best in class, but it's very reliable. Moving right along, we come to the Matador 64. Reminder, even though the weapon shows 80 impact, remember that it is a visual bug. It has the same impact as all other precision frame shotguns. It still belongs in A tier though, because it has good numbers and good perk options: perpetual motion, tunnel vision, threat detector, harmony, opening shot, killing wind, and swashbuckler. It also has golden tricorn if that's the thing that you're into, but good luck getting it activated. Moving on, we got the Retold Tale, which, quick reminder, you can farm for very easily by banging out blind well completions in the Dreaming City. Like the CQC, Retold can roll the uber snappy combo of quick draw snapshot, which I like, and has a bunch of other really effective perks going for it too. Out of every precision frame shotty, Retold also has the highest aim assist value of 75 and the second best range value of 68, beaten only by the Prophet of Doom, which sucks anyway. Fractithist is yet another precision frame shotty I'm putting in A tier. It may not have the quick draw snapshot combo like the Retold Tale, but it brings other things to the table, including 3 very fun damage boosting perk options in column 4: Harmony, Adrenaline Junkie, and Adagio. Technically 4 if you include Trench Barrel, but I feel like the other 3 are far easier to activate and more forgiving to use. If you don't want to tinker around with damage perks, Opening Shot and Thresh are there to fall back on. Heritage is one of the 2 slug shotguns that we're going to talk about in the A tier. If Heritage had slightly better perks in the perk pool, I honestly feel like it could potentially be brought up to S tier, but unfortunately, it's got a tiny window of what you'd want to bring into PvP, mainly slide shot and either killing wind, thresh, snapshot, or moving target. I would probably go with snapshot. That being said, Heritage has monster numbers on paper: a base aim assist value of 68 and a handling value of 73. It's accurate, snappy, and reliable right out of the box. Horrible shame about that perk pool, but even with limited options, it is very good. The Astral Horizon, the regular version, is also up here in A tier, and it shouldn't be much of a shock. As far as ag frame shotguns go, the Horizon doesn't F around. Its Achilles heel, like the Heritage, is a relatively meh perk pool. Surplus or Pulse Monitor is your target for column 3, and Killing Wind or more likely Opening Shot in column 4. If you do have the God Roll though, you'll know how good the Horizon is at dunking on people with little to no effort. Next, the Found Verdict regular version. I rate it higher in A tier than the Horizon because Found Verdict has more handling and more range by default, and more options in the perk pool, including Vorpal Weapon and Slide Shot. Rock solid shotgun belongs in the high end of A tier without question. Next, a Sudden Death, another ag frame shotgun worthy of A tier. Sudden Death has numbers on paper nearly identical to Horizon, but with a few more great perks in the perk pool, including Threat Detector, Snapshot, Wellspring, and Elemental Capacitor. If you are an Arc class PvP main looking for a god tier handling shotgun, try to hunt down an Elemental Threat Detector Sudden Death, and you will be blown away by how lightning quick it is. Next, the highest ranked legendary slug shotgun on my list today, the Blasphemer. Blasphemer's only real weakness is that it has low-ish handling for a slug, but as long as you build your PvP loadout around that, it can be a machine. Quick Draw, Threat Detector, Surplus, Rampage, Swashbuckler, Opening Shot, and Moving Target. Swash in particular can be brutal, allowing you to achieve one-hit kill body shots when activated, something you should definitely try out. Number-wise, Blasphemer has 61 aim assist and 62 range. Not freaking bad. I do wish it were less of a bitch to farm for it though. At the top of A tier, we have the exotic shotgun Lord of Wolves. Honestly, depending on the player, Lord of Wolves could potentially be S tier. It fires like a close-range pulse rifle on cocaine, and its one-shot kill range is far better than the majority of shotguns we've covered so far. The only real downside is that it has a harsh learning curve for new players and is especially brutal to wield on controller. However, if you're either a dedicated player who likes to practice and get good with weapons that have a high skill ceiling, and if you also play on mouse and keyboard, you can decimate people with Lord of Wolves with a bit of practice. And now we move on to S tier. These shotguns are viewed by many as the creme de la creme. They pretty much run the show in PvP. If you get gunned down by a pellet ape, there's maybe a 90% chance that you're going to see one of the following weapon names pop up, and for good reason. First up, Duality. I spent a fair amount of time debating with myself whether Duality belongs at the tippy top of A tier or at the low end of S tier, and ended up with the latter. more on why later. But duality is a hybrid weapon, pellet spread via hip fire and slug shotgun when ADSing. If you've ever been annoyed by missing a point blank hip fire shot with any other slug shotgun in PvP, or if you just want to try out a very reliable slug, you gotta check out the duality. Remember, you can extend the one-hit kill range of your slug shotgun via the unique perk on black wings, but it does require hip fire kills to activate. Duality has 73 range and 65 aim assist by default and is not to be trifled with. The Adept Astral Horizon brings everything to the table that the regular Horizon does, but also with the ability to be fitted with Adept weapon mods and having slightly more impressive base stats overall. Likewise, we have the Time Lost Found Verdict, which if you follow my Twitch channel, you'll know is my current favorite legendary shotgun in D2. It has competition, which we'll get to in a minute, but even living in the shadow of that annoyingly more popular shotgun, Time Lost has better numbers on paper, and it just hits so good. You might remember that way back when I did a little study on how barrel length, yeah, the actual length of your shotgun's barrel, could improve its performance by a hair in PvP. I haven't done any testing on the length of the Found Verdict's barrel, nor do I intend to, but I'd probably bet money that it might be a factor in why it feels good to me. Even with my crazy tinfoil hat barrel talk, the Time Lost Found Verdict has 12 more handling than Fellwinter by default, which just makes it snappier enough to be my favorite current legendary shotgun for PvP. Finally, at the top of S tier, we have the undisputed king of PvP legendary troublemaking, the Fellwinter's Lie. If you want to get right down to it, you could argue that the existence of the Fellwinter alone should mean that every other legendary energy pellet shotgun should be crammed down into F tier. You can literally go to the tower right now as a new player and yoink this weapon out of the kiosk and immediately begin ruining people in PvP. Even though it is technically not an ag frame shotgun, it has the numbers of the ag frame, which is the best frame, and yet it also has intrinsic shot package built into it, meaning that your pellet spread is naturally going to be tighter and more bunched together. If that weren't enough, the damn thing has a curated roll, meaning no grinding, no hoping for a god roll, no bad RNG. Acquire a new one today, and it will be exactly as good as every other Fellwinter running around out there. The gold standard, the fly in the ointment, the pain in the ass, the Fellwinter's Lie. Now you're probably thinking, hey Fallout, this ain't right, you're forgetting one. No, I am not. Please allow me to introduce you to the highly coveted, ultra exclusive S+ tier of PvP shotgun, where we have the one above all, the Chaperone. If the shotguns in the S tier are the mighty gods of Mount Olympus, then the Chaperone is Zeus. It is the Allfather, and I know I'm being dramatic right now, but mother of God, Chaperone is absolutely filthy in PvP to the point where I had to put it in its own tier. If you're new or haven't used it in a really long time, yeah, it really is that good. Yeah, it really is that easy to acquire. Yeah, it really is that easy to use. Yeah, it is better than duality. How dare you compare the two of them to me with a straight face? One of the main reasons I'm so comfortable in putting duality in S tier is that I know I would be able to put Chaperone on a higher tier, and I didn't want the two of them to be together in the same tier. But Fallout, duality can hip fire from up close, so it's more reliable overall. Yeah, have you ever hip fired the Chaperone up close? Guess what happens? You get a headshot. The numbers on paper and the feel of the Chaperone is so good, it's almost like you're firing watermelons and not bullets. 82 handling, 70 rate of fire, 70 aim assist, and 100 range. If you manage to land even one headshot, which believe me, not hard to do, the unique perk, the Roadborne, kicks in and you're essentially dialing the lethality of an already lethal monster up to 11. I defy you to go into PvP right now with the Chaperone and not do well, even as a new player. Many community members right now are in agreement that it's probably only a matter of time before Chaperone gets 86 out of the god tier club by an upcoming weapon patch. I'd actually be kind of shocked if it didn't. It really is that good. And there you go, my complete PvP shotgun tier list. Thanks for sticking with me through the whole way. If there's any of my rulings that you disagree with, and I'm sure there will be sure to let me know what a brainless idiot I am down in the comments section. Feel free to share your tier list as well, or maybe just your favorite shotties and why, and remember to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate those who do. Huge shout out to my patrons for the month. I appreciate all of you. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you for the support. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.